Hey, hey, welcome back to Your Audience is Waiting, the show for founders and CEOs ready to grow their online presence, build authority, and lead their industry with clarity and confidence. I'm your host, Elisha Everett. Okay, today's episode is one that I've been wanting to have for a while because it's the one thing that literally changed the way I show up online and honestly changed how I feel about showing up online in general. So, let me tell you how I figured this out. After managing social media accounts for entrepreneurs, which is basically helping them bring their content strategy to life, whether they have a marketing team or they need help with execution in general. And in the beginning, it was so much fun. I was learning constantly, had tons of questions I can create content from, and it felt like I was in this creative flow. But then I hit a wall hard. I started running out of questions to ask and ways to answer them. You know, that feeling when you're staring at a blank screen or scrolling through other people's content, hoping something will spark an idea? Yeah, that was me. Every single day that I sat down to create the content calendar. And I couldn't figure out why until I realized I wasn't pulling from anywhere except scrolling for ideas and asking curiosity questions that were probably too beginner focused for my target audience who are more mature in their business on, different platforms. But what was needed was an anchor piece of content that social media could actually support. And that's when it clicked. This is probably what a lot of entrepreneurs experience. You start with tons of ideas, you have this burst of creative energy, but then you fade out because there's no real content strategy in place to support your business goals. You're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. So I got creative, identified the anchor content we'd pull for this client, and from there, we created social posts to support that anchor content and business goal. Now, this was something that I was dabbling in the beginning, but as I began to grow and be more intentional about the content that I'm sharing online, and as I grow my visibility ecosystem, I realize more and more the importance of having an anchor piece of content, not just to have one place to share it and to repurpose it later, but the place where I could authentically and also filled with joy share my knowledge, share my journey, and all of those things. That's when I truly understood the importance of having an anchor piece of content. So today, we're diving into anchor content, what it is, why you need it, and how it saves you from that what do I post today energy every single week. And by the way, if you're feeling like you're in that creative desert now, stick with me. There's a free guide I'm going to tell you about that'll help you figure out exactly what your anchor content should be. So let's get into it. So, first of all, what is anchor content and why should you care? So, when I say anchor content, I'm talking about your core piece of content, your home base. It's the thing that everything else flows from. This could be a podcast like this one, a blog, a YouTube channel, or your website. It's the long form content you create consistently that gives people a place to really engage with your message. And here's why it matters. You're not starting from scratch every day, so no more Sunday scaries wondering what you're going to post all week. You get to show up in your zone of genius, whether that's talking, writing, teaching, or showing, even through video. You stop trying to be everything to everyone and start being really good at one thing. You create structure around your message so your presence is consistent and clear, and people will start to know what to expect from you. So, no more random disconnected posts just to feed the algorithm. You're building something that compounds, something that actually moves your business forward. And guys, I'm literally in the middle of that tension right now. As I begin to get more and more strategic with my content and with my business as we continue to scale and grow and educate, I'm trying to unlearn the rat race of content creation. You know how they say, oh, everything is content, so record 6 seconds of this or 10 seconds of what you're doing in the middle of the day. At that point, you're so consumed with capturing videos or pictures for content that you forget to live in the moment. And I'm trying to unlearn that habit. I am now consistently posting on one platform and repurposing that content onto Instagram, YouTube, different podcast platforms, and soon we'll be dabbling into Pinterest and turning those things into blog posts. But for now, I'm focusing on one piece. And so I'm literally in the middle of it. And guys, I just want to let you know it's so freeing to not have to worry about, capturing content when I'm walking down the street or if I'm having a glass of tea or water or anything like that. Like, oh, record yourself drinking the water for this 7-second reel. It doesn't resonate with me. And so I just wanted to let you know that it's super freeing once you decide, what that is. Now, think of it like this. Instead of being a leaf blowing around in the wind, you become the tree, rooted, steady, and growing. I know what you might be thinking. Okay, Alicia, this sounds great in theory, but I'm already overwhelmed with everything I have to do. How is adding more content going to help? And that's exactly what I want to talk about next, because anchor content isn't about adding more to your plate, it's about protecting your peace. When you know what you're creating each week and you know what it's for, you stop scrambling. You stop second guessing yourself at 9 p.m., wondering if that post was good enough, and you start actually enjoying the process again. It keeps you aligned with your strengths and it gives your brain some breathing room to do what it does best, which is create, strategize, and connect. And there's actual research on this. Reducing mental clutter leads to better consistency, better performance, and less burnout. When you're not constantly making decisions about what to create, you free up mental energy for the bigger picture stuff. It's very similar to people who choose to live a minimalist lifestyle. You know, those people who purge everything in their closet, but they keep the basics, or maybe they stay within a certain color palette. The whole goal of that is to minimize the amount of decisions they have to make when it comes to their wardrobe, or the person who has the same lunch every single day, like the coach from Alabama, Nick Saban. He used to have a ham sandwich or a turkey sandwich every day for lunch. And it's a way to have something that you don't have to change. It's consistent and you don't have to put mental energy towards it. Just like that. And if you've been feeling overwhelmed by the constant pressure to create, to post, to show up, this is your way out. But here's where it gets even better. Once you have that anchor content, you don't just create it once and call it a day. You multiply it, and that's where the magic of syndication comes in. So, what is content syndication? What is it? Why does it change the game? You're probably wondering. So, let's talk about it. Now, that's just a fancy word that basically means this. You take one piece of content and you turn it into 5 or 6 or up to 10 other pieces of content. So let's say your anchor content is a podcast episode. From that 20-minute conversation, you can pull a carousel for Instagram breaking down the main points, a short form reel with the best quote, an email to your list expanding on one key idea, a blog post with the full transcript and additional resources, or a quote graphic for LinkedIn, or even for Pinterest, you can have a pin driving traffic back to the episode. And you're basically saying the same thing in different ways for different people in different spaces. And this is how you get off the content hamster wheel. You don't need more content, you need a smarter way to use what you already have. One piece of anchor content can easily become 10 to 15 pieces of supporting content. That's a month's worth of posts from one focused creative session. Now, I can almost hear some of you saying, oh, that sounds amazing, but I'm not sure how this will work for my specific business. So let me break it down by industry so you can see exactly how this plays out in real life. So you've got a product-based business, right? Your anchor content would be your website. Why? Because that's where people shop. They learn about the transformation your product brings and they read reviews there and they fall in love with your brand. So, how do you use it? You write blogs about how your product solves a real life problem. You send newsletters that link back to those blogs and tell the story behind the product. You share your product benefits and customer stories on Instagram, TikTok, or Pinterest. Now, all of this is an ecosystem. All of this is coming back to your anchor piece of content or your anchor platform. So let's say you're a hair salon owner. Anchor content? Yes, again, it would be your website because people need to know where to book you. And it's also your space to show off your expertise. So maybe you create a blog, something like questions from the chair. And I'm telling you, use those conversations you have every day with clients. You could turn them into blog posts. So, an example could be, why does my hair feel dry after washing? You write a blog about that. Repurpose it into reels showing the before and after of a hairstyle or maybe a hair texture after your process. Share styling tips with captions tied to those same questions. And then you post it on Pinterest with location tags like Charlotte silk press specialist or something like that, depending on what it is that you specialize in. So all of this is always coming back to your website because if they like, let's say they find your post on Instagram and they like it, well, they're going to go up to your link and they're going to click on your website and it's going to take them back there. Or you can have a schedule with me and that's going to take them back to your website. Everything goes back to your anchor platform. Now, let's say you're a fitness coach. You could use a website or a podcast. You would write blog posts about common myths, workout routines, mindset shifts, and share client transformation journeys. Then repurpose it into social content showing exercise form. You can have a newsletter series on building sustainable habits. You could pitch articles to Men's Health or niche fitness blogs. This is all about building trust while you're also growing your audience. Now, these examples show you how anchor content works across different industries, but I know there's still that voice in your head asking the big question. If I give away all this good stuff for free, what's left for people to actually pay me for? Let's tackle that question head on. But if I give away too much, why would they buy, right? I get it. You don't want to undervalue yourself, but here's the truth. People do not pay for information, they pay for transformation. In 2025, the information is everywhere. You could literally go to ChatGPT and ask, how do I create an anchor content strategy for my business? Boom, you'll get a full step by step, right? Then you can follow up and ask it to turn that strategy into a social media plan or an email funnel or PDF. So, why do people still buy courses? Why do people still hire coaches, consultants, strategists, or mentors? It's because we're human. We don't just want knowledge, we want support, we want conversation, we want someone to look at our specific situation and say, yep, that's normal, or nope, don't do that, try this instead. And AI, as smart as it is, it can't hold a space for your growth. It can't look you in the eye and say, you're not crazy, or this just takes time. It can't walk through the nuanced decisions of your business with the full context of your life, your values, and your goals. So don't be afraid to give away content that makes people say, I can't believe you're sharing this for free. That's exactly the kind of content that builds trust. That's what positions you as someone who knows their stuff and is generous enough to lead with it. Here's how you balance it. You share the what and the why freely. People need to know what to do and they need to understand why they should do it. And you're going to share why you do it. What you sell is the how. You sell the feedback, the support, and the path to implementation. Your free content is the invitation, and your paid offer is the transformation. So let's think about the hair salon stylist. If I have a hair salon, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do the thing that you've been trying to do yourself at home. Maybe that's all you need. And if that's the case, then that's okay. But let's say they mess up, they're going to know exactly where to go to get it fixed. Or maybe it didn't turn out the way they wanted it to. They're going to know exactly where to go to get the exact look they want to have. You're going to give them the transformation that they're seeking. And speaking of that invitation, your anchor content is literally the front door to your business. It's the first impression people get of who you are and what you're about. That's the foundation of the porch. When people land on your page, your profile, or your podcast, what are they seeing? What's the experience? Think about walking into your favorite coffee shop. You know what to expect, the vibe, the quality, the experience. That's what your anchor platform does for your business. It creates a clear, aligned experience from the very first touch point. People start to know what they'll get when they engage with you. We've covered a lot of ground here, and so let me pull all of this together for you so you can walk away with a clear action plan. Number one, your anchor content and platform gives you structure and peace of mind. No more staring at blank screens wondering what to post. Number two, syndication multiplies your message without multiplying your workload. One piece becomes 10. And number three, you don't need to gatekeep to be valuable. Trust comes from generosity, not secrecy. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I'm convinced, but how do I actually figure out what my anchor content and platform should be? I've got you covered. You can discover your anchor platform with a simple quiz. It's simple, quick, powerful, and your results will get emailed right to you. The link is in the show notes along with a bonus. So I'm really excited for you guys to get into that and discover what your anchor platform and content will be. Because here's the thing, you have something valuable to say. You have expertise that people need. The world needs your voice, your perspective, and your solution. You just need the right system to share it consistently and strategically.
Thank you so much for showing up and spending this time with me. It truly means the world. I hope today's episode reminded you that the work you're doing in your business matters. Your voice is powerful, your vision is needed, and your audience is already out there waiting to hear from you. If you want to keep the conversation going, come hang out with me over on Instagram at Elisha Everett. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your takeaways, or just cheer you on in whatever you're building. And if you haven't yet, would you do me a quick favor? Leave a review and rate the show. It helps me know what's resonating, what you're loving, and how I can keep delivering content that truly supports you. Until next time, keep showing up. Your audience is waiting.